To
Oh
the
wow, that's nice.
and I am bringing in the people. Okay, here we go. Opening up the Zoom. Woo! Hello, my people. Yes. Hey, Michael. Tim in the house. Micah. Hi, darling. I got John, Vanessa, Doug, Amber. Amber's got a cozy scarf. What's up, Bob? Oh my gosh, Caitlin, looking beautiful as always. Hello, Kara. If your last name truly is karaoke, that just means you are like fun in the sun nonstop. We love to see that. Okay, what's up? Hello. Shmel is Santa today. We got James. Hey, everybody, come on in. Welcome, welcome. It's truly great to see you all today. Spring is, maybe coming into the horizon for those of you in the cold months. Sad to say, in LA, we've had, sorry, it was in the 80s yesterday, and if that makes you sad, I'm sorry. Come visit. Come visit. Okay. So welcome, welcome. I think we are mostly put together here. Hi, you can join us in the chat at any time. Here we are. Happy to see you. What's up, Charles? Hey, we got Luke, we got Michael. Okay, Terry. Yes, okay, everybody. Terry and I went to the same undergrad, so we get to talk about like being from Maryland every sesh, which is great. Hello from Brooklyn. Great. If this is one of your first times here with us, you can just, or not your first time, maybe it's your millionth time, just say hi to us in the chat because we love to see that. So come on in and thank you for being with us today. I live in LA and New York. It's complicated, Tony. I have a complicated life narrative for where exactly I am these days. First time visitor, maybe first time caller. What's up, Luke in Michigan? Okay, great. First timer from Chris in Colorado and currently in India. Okay, we love to see that. Hi, everybody. Great to have you all here as we slowly climb to 84 people. My name is Siobhán O'Loughlin. I am part of the team here at Edge Studio, voiceover company in New York City. And I am your host for today's Ask Me Anything Hour, our like panel of discussion on all things voiceover. And I'm here, as I always am, with my co-host on my Zoom left. Yes, took me 2 years, but I can do it. On my
Yep.
Zoom left, David Goldberg, Chief Edge Officer. Good day, David. How you doing?
Yeah, good day to you too. So everyone, listen, Siobhán has the greatest chair ever. Check that out, guys. She and I and Samantha got on the call about 5 minutes or 10 minutes ago, and look at that chair. Come on.
So
I said, I want one.
if
Hey everyone, it's good to see you.
if you for my people on TikTok, I TikToked myself putting together this chair because I'm an adult and I have an office chair now, like a real grown up, just like grown ups do. And I'm not very good at like home improvement. But I also don't like to ask for help, so I like put it together by myself. I did it, and yeah, it's pink because it's just what I wanted to do. So everybody, I'm so happy to see you all, and I'm super happy, more than that, to invite our special guest to the stage. Today, if it's your first time being here, we spend this hour just talking voiceover, and we do it in the chat. So if you are like, I mean, you probably are accustomed to the Zooms. I'm assuming that you are, but if you are not for some reason, your chat should be on desktop on your right-hand side. And just, you want to keep that open because that's where we're going to socialize. That's where you're going to drop your questions. It's not that I don't want to hear your absolutely beautiful voices. It's just that it would be absolute chaos to have 95 people unmuted. So we're not going to be doing that. Dina is just listening in today, but we love Dina. And we love when Jean brings Dina her coffee in the morning. It's really one of my favorite rituals of the Ask Me Anything when I get to see that. Oh, as we said, it's industry standard for your partner to bring you coffee. So make sure if they're not doing that, they are not loving you right. What's up, Theron from Portland? Okay, so today we have a special guest, and I'm super excited to have her with us. It's her first time on our panel, or her first time, I think, teaching a class at Edge Studio. And you all are going to be obsessed with her. I have, because I run the socials, I've stalked her on the internet, and I love learning about her and reading what she does. And so I'm really pleased that she agreed to join us this morning. Her name is Samantha Diane, and I'm just really pleased to introduce you, Samantha. I would love to. She's an agent with the Bonafide and Emerging Artists Agency, in addition to a million other things. So I would love to just introduce you and ask you to tell us a little bit about your journey. Samantha has a really fascinating history, also a performer, an aerialist. If you don't know what that is, it's really exciting. It's something I wish I could do, but I have a little bit, you know what, I have a little bit of fear, but maybe with the right teacher, I don't know. So we'd love to hear about your journey as a creative and how you came to do to work with an agency and specifically do a voiceover representation.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that magical introduction. I appreciate it. So yeah, I am with Bonafide and Emerging Artists. I've been with them maybe for 8 months or so, almost a year. And I kind of came into working with Bonafide and Emerging Artists via more of the management side. And where I worked with different celebrities and personalities, handling just kind of a variety of different things within the entertainment industry, from social media to traditional type of management. And before that, like you said, I've always kind of been in entertainment as a performer myself. I was an aerialist for like 10 years, and I've stopped doing that, unfortunately. But it was fun. It was super fun. And it's really cool to be able to come at, the agenting side of things, the business side, from also having a perspective of being a performer in a variety of different aspects. So I think that's really beneficial, when I'm working with people, to kind of know what it's like on both sides. So yeah, I've done all kinds of different things. And I reconnected with my friend Tracy, who is the owner of Bonafide, one of the founders of Bonafide and Emerging Artists, who I worked with at a talent agency. I hate to say it, but like 20 years ago. Um, so we reconnected and came into this journey of kind of helping manage and branch out some things within Bonafide and Emerging Artists. And so that's where I am now, in the voiceover department. And we are kicking butt. So I'm happy to be here and to meet everyone and to answer any questions that I can.
I love it. Thank you so much, Samantha. Yes, so basically, Shmel's already asking, like, what is an aerialist exactly? And I'm like, yeah, let's just start with that.
Okay. So an aerialist, if you've ever seen like Cirque du Soleil, the people that do a lot of people usually say, do you do the curtains or stuff like that? So it's like the fabric. I did this aerial silks and trapeze. So the fabric that hangs down, or I did a static trapeze, which is like high up, but not the swinging trapeze. So I was a circus performer and a dancer.
Don't mess with someone who can suspend themselves in the air, y'all.
Yeah.
That's an agent you want representing you, to be honest. Um, so let's get right into it. For folks, again, just as a reminder, if you haven't done this yet, you're viewing pleasure. If you're new to the Zooms in this format, you've got your view button on your top right corner, and you can do speaker mode if you want to see our beautiful faces blown up. Who can blame you? But I have this in gallery because I like to see everyone. I like Barry's smile. I like to see what going on in Times Square. So that is up to you. This is being recorded and will be posted in our YouTube, and I think Sarah has that feature on the speaker, so you can have both. You can have it all, and your questions will all be popped into the chat, and I will filter them to be dispersed with Samantha and David. But I encourage you, anything specific to Samantha, we've got her for this one session, so please take advantage of her beautiful brain. So I like this. Let's get right into it. Luke has, Samantha, can you share, in your perspective, what are the pros and cons of having an agent?
Sure. So the pros of having an agent, it's the idea is, somebody to focus on handling getting you jobs, bringing in things for you, handling all of the contractual aspects, ideally getting you potentially a better rate for something than you might be able to negotiate on your own, and kind of taking those types of things off your plate so that you can focus on doing what you do best, whether it's being a voiceover artist, being an actor, whatever it is. So that's the idea. And then, of course, to bring incoming opportunities to you that you might not have otherwise. And I don't see a con of having an agent. Anybody else? I mean, I can't think of anything.
Um, so,
But I will throw in one thing.
yes.
I've always said, Samantha, and to everyone, I've never found a con to having an agent. But I do want to point out that an agent is not right for every voice actor. Right. So agents uh, work a lot in the commercial world and get you certain types of work, but they don't work in every genre, or most agents don't work in every genre. And so
Mhm.
there's a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of hype out there or misinformation in our industry where some people will say you have to have an agent, and that is totally untrue. It's
Right.
right for some people and it is not right for other people. And for some people, for some voice actors, they should have multiple agents and some should just stick with one. So there are lots of variables. So disregard the misinformation you see out there. Just
Yeah,
wanted to
I
throw that
totally
in.
agree. And you definitely don't need an agent. There's plenty of people that get by just fine without agents and that might freelance with multiple agents. And on like a side note, the only con I can think of to having an agent is if you end up with an agent who you don't really mesh well with,
Mm.
you definitely, if you find someone that you work well with, then I don't see any cons to it.
Yeah, there are no cons.
Yeah.
In all these years, I've never come up with a con. I mean, it's great to have an agent or multiple agents working for you, whether they are even just in the States or international, but it has to be right for you. And not, like I said, not everyone is right for an agent.
Right.
Yeah, these are great points that everybody is making, and the chat is kind of popping off. So I just want to say this now before it gets to the end of the hour. Samantha is teaching a class this weekend with us. It's her agent workshop, and you're going to get
Ooh.
way more information happening on March 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're like, I want to talk to Samantha about all these things, it is in the chat, and people are like, okay, thank you, got the jazz hands for that. So that's in there, and just for your reference. Okay, I'm keeping it going. People are digging what appears to be a river of vinyl behind you,
Oh,
Samantha, and
yes. Thank you.
you have Moxie, and there's just a lot of love in the chat. Okay. So,
Awesome.
Samantha, and David actually too. I know at Edge we do projects, of course, that have children voice actors. Samantha, do you represent children? Do you have experience with kids? Do you think it's important for kids to have an agent? We got some parents in the house today.
Yes, we do work with children. We have a children's department for both on camera and for voiceover. Um, I would say that it's important for children to have an agent because they're not, unless you have a parent that's able to find a lot of different opportunities for you, then you would definitely want somebody who's able to bring in potential opportunities. And I also think it's important for children to work with a manager, which is a whole nother story, but someone who can help kind of manage all of the incoming things, because it can be overwhelming, I think, for a parent or parents with multiple kids. So we do work with a lot of children, and many of them also have a manager that makes everybody's life a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. David, any thoughts on that as well?
I would just further that because I agree. In our production department at Edge Studio, we do produce a lot of children's programming, video games, kids apps, talking toys, animation, cartoons, and all sorts of stuff. And we are when we have call for kids, we almost solely go to an agent, a talent agent, because kids are harder to find. They're harder to find who have the right voice, who can read and be available at a certain time, especially
Mhm.
if productions are occurring during the daytime. Um, Kids' voices change a lot, which often gets us into trouble. We have kids who work on series, and every year they come back for an update to a series. And one year they come back, especially a boy, and now his voice has changed, and we think, uh-oh, we can't use the same kid that we've used for 5 years, and so we
Mhm.
really rely on agents when hiring children.
This is a great question that I think a lot of people will get a lot out of. Samantha, so let's say I'm a talent. I want you to add me to your roster.
Mhm.
How, I'm sure you get solicited very often. How do you prefer to be contacted by a talent? Do you appreciate a follow-up? What is the best way for folks who are reaching out to agents?
Um, the the best way I would say to reach out to agents is, always we have a submission form on our website. But we don't always have time to look at it. So some people squeeze through and find our email addresses, which is totally fine. I look at them all, and the things that are going to stand out to me are people who are concise, send links in emails, make everything very easy, because everybody's busy. We're super busy with millions of emails a day. And so the more concise and to the point your emails can be to pitch yourself, the easier it is for us to scan over it, to read it, and to figure out very quickly if you're somebody that we want to follow up with. And I definitely appreciate a follow-up, because I would say, probably like a lot of people, can't always get to the first email. I mean to get to it, and I don't. And follow-ups remind me. Follow-ups that are, similar to the first email, that have a very concise pitch, links, just short blurbs about who you are and what you do, and where I can find your work quickly.
So
Quickly. Yeah.
So it is okay to follow up.
Yes, definitely follow up. The follow-up, I wish there's a quote I used to know about follow-ups, but it'll come to me. But yeah, follow-ups are when, no matter what you're pitching yourself for, you're probably not going to get somebody to respond to you until you follow up with them.
Awesome. David, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that the initial the initial note to an agent, just as it would be to our production department, is really critical. As Samantha so nicely said, make it concise, give a good branding of yourself. By far, the vast majority of demos that we receive from voice actors looking for work from our production department are so poorly written that it's you can send all the follow-ups you want, but we're not going to hire you.
Yeah.
Occasionally, like maybe 1% of the time, a voice actor will send an email that sticks out, that looks to begin a relationship with us, rather than saying, "Hi, I do voiceovers. I want to be represented." That doesn't do anything for us. But a voice actor will let us know very briefly, like extremely briefly, what they specialize in, what makes them unique, why, like how we can label them in our database, so we know when to call upon them. If you don't make it easy for us, it's not going to be easy for us to find you. So you need to make it easy for us, because we are inundated with incoming demos.
Yeah, as easy as possible.
Yeah.
And if you are someone who feels more insecure about your writing skills and your email abilities, you can book coaching sessions with us for a consultation on where we can look through how you're sending these things out, what they look like, what your language is, how your links are organized, how your blurbs are put together. You can get help with that. And as we always say, you don't have to do it with us, but booking time with professionals to talk through how you're going about this is something we highly recommend. With that, Samantha, I want to say that Bruce says he really likes the name Bonafide and Emerging because he's working on both.
Oh, nice.
So from Caitlin, she says, "Hi, Samantha. Do you recommend a talent have an agent on different coasts, or say like in the East and the West, New York and LA, Atlanta, the Midwest, for example?" What do you think about that?
What do I think about that? Well, for voiceover, I'm not 100% certain that it would be necessary to have multiple agents, because I feel like a lot of voiceover projects are in their nature kind of bi-coastal. We do get a lot of New York specific based projects. And I know for, on-camera work, that having an agent in multiple spots is definitely great, because a lot of projects are really localized. But I don't necessarily know that the voiceover world kind of works like that. I think a lot of the voiceover projects are kind of all over the place, because the talent up until, self-tapes for on-camera blew up. The talent were always kind of everywhere. So what do you think about that, David?
So on this one, I sort of disagree, because a lot of the voice actors who are looking for agents might be looking out for their first agent and may not have that much experience, and in which case they may be seeking some more smaller, as opposed to national, some small market agents. And in that case, if they sign with an agent, let's say in New York or even in New Jersey or Connecticut, like a smaller state, They may actually just be signing a contract for that one particular state or for one small region.
Good
And
point.
therefore, if you want to get more experience with agents, I would think, but Samantha, you can fill me in on this. I would think if you're newer to the industry, maybe having a couple of smaller agents would be helpful in that case. Like each works in a different area of the States or even in a different country. And to that, there are some international agents and agents in other countries. And a lot of voice actors do speak a second language. And therefore, having an agent overseas can be like super helpful. I know a lot of voice actors who thrive on that, who just get a lot of their work by having an agent across the country or overseas somewhere.
Yeah, and, I think to kind of add to that, I think it would depend on what agency you sign with, because a lot of agencies are going to get the same opportunities, but
Yes.
there are going to be agencies that get other opportunities that someone else might not get. So for example, if someone signs with us in New York, we get a lot of international things. We get a lot of things that are happening everywhere, whereas maybe another agency might not get that. So it kind of just depends on who you're with as to what kind of opportunities they're getting for you, where they are. So
Yeah, great point.
Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. I like this question too. Guys, keep the great questions coming. From Jules, Samantha, are agents particularly looking for voiceover actors with experience, or do you take new people with a beautifully polished demo onto your roster?
yeah, we definitely take new people. What matters more is how you pitch yourself, what you can put together to give us something to share with potential clients on castings that are happening. As long as you have something that's professional sounding that we can share with our clients for opportunities, then we're definitely, we're always looking for new voices.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, so from Amber, as an agent, what are some things that make you extremely happy about the talent you manage? I guess from a relationship perspective.
What makes me extremely happy? Communication. A lot of times, this is probably number one. A lot of times we work on extremely tight deadlines. And so, the talent who are quick on their emails, quick on their texts, if we have to communicate that way, quick to respond, who are pay attention and read details and things that we send them, that is like just huge because we work on really tight deadlines. So, communication is really, really, really important. It makes me really, really happy. And I think that's the number one thing.
I feel like David, you tend to agree about that regarding your relationships in our production department, yeah?
Yeah, communication is key. I would say the second thing, which is just about as key, or maybe to us even equally as important, is having a voice actor who looks out for us and not for themselves. And that just comes down to every way you deal with us. So rather than just saying like, how did I do? How is this? We'd like a voice actor to say, hey, if you can give me critique, to help your clients, so your clients are happier, let me know. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is a voice actor who sees us as a relationship and not just that they're in it for themselves. Because look, we need voice actors as much as you guys need us, right? So we act more as casting agents, whereas Samantha is a talent agent. I wonder if we should sidetrack and explain the difference between that. Do you guys know the difference between like casting agents, casting directors, and talent agents?
If you would like David to explain the difference, just put your hands up in the square. Okay.
Holy cow. Yeah, Samantha can probably I'm sure she can do a better job. I'll give you like a brief overview. Maybe Samantha, you can kind of fill in missing gaps.
Okay.
A talent agent, I would say, represents voice actors, whereas a casting director represents producers. And a casting agent is sort of a combination of both. So, as I said, a talent agent represents voice actors. That this is what Samantha is. It's great. She's going to look out for your best interest, as she said earlier. And the talent agent is going to handle your castings, your auditions, negotiations, your contracts, your payments. I mean, you just sit back and do the work. It's terrific. A casting director is going to look out for their client, who's the producer, the company actually putting together some type of production that requires voiceover. So the casting director is going to say, I have a client who needs a voice actor. Let me find a voice actor. And very often the casting director will go to talent agents and say, hey, I need voice actors who sound like X, Y, and Z. And then, as I said, sometimes that both roles are fulfilled, and that would be called typically a casting agent. And that's sort of what we do at Edge Studio in our production department. Then there's so many other layers to this. There are talent scouts and all sorts of other people, managers and representatives and stuff. But those I would think are the three key ones. Samantha, do you want to fill in?
Yeah, I agree. We as agents, we represent the talent. And, like he said, casting directors come to us and say, we have this project, we need to fill these roles. Who do you have? And then it's our job to, have a roster of talent that we know their work and know what kind of roles they do. And then we present them to the casting directors who then kind of sort through them and see, according to their client, the producers of a project, who they think is good for it, potentially for the project. So yeah.
Fabulous. Okay. I have two parts of the additions to the kind of reaching out to sort of pitching to a talent agent. So Adam is asking, what are some red flags or negative pet peeves you find in talent submissions, like when somebody's reaching out to you? This is a great question. Thanks, Adam.
I don't have necessarily any pet peeves. I think the biggest thing is sometimes we receive emails that are just like paragraphs, just big chunks of text, and I can't even read them because my brain is seeing so many emails that, that would be my biggest pet peeve. The more you can break it up visually, think about somebody, if you're pitching yourself, think about someone skimming the email and getting straight to the point with, the most important things that you can say to pitch yourself, links. So anything like that, where it's just like big chunks of text in an email is really difficult to read. And usually I'm just like, I can't read it.
How about dear sir or ma'am? Do you like
yeah,
that?
and
Just
you want to
thinking that,
personalize things. Yes, definitely. Know about, I get pitches sometimes that are like for literary agents. And I just think, did you even look me up? I don't work with, writers. So, so don't, personalize it. If you sent me an email and said, hey, I read this about you and I saw this about you, I think I might be a good client for you, we seem to have similar vibe, then I'd be like, cool, this person took their time in pitching themselves to me.
Yeah. David, any thoughts on your end?
Yeah, everything Samantha said. I'd throw in some others. And I don't know if they're necessarily pet peeves, but whatever. I think that they're just things you don't want to do as a voice actor. One is not seeing this from the recipient's perspective, like forgetting that they don't know who you are. So people will send us a demo and say, here's my demo. And now I guess this is not really fair for me to say now, because Samantha, you only represent voice actors and on camera, but we typically receive demos from engineers looking for work and editors looking for work and musicians who compose the background music and sound Foley artists, as well as voice actors and copywriters. And so people say, here's my demo. We don't even know what they're sending us their demo for, and there's no clarity to it.
And you don't have time to figure it out.
We don't know. And then the confusion. So we get so many voice actors, guys, listen to this carefully. So many voice actors send us multiple demos, which is fine if you have 2 or 3 demos or even more, whatever, but the demos aren't clarified what they are. So we get demo A and demo B. Like, what the heck does that mean? What's the difference? Or sometimes we get commercial 1 and commercial 2. It doesn't help us. It just confuses us. And once you introduce confusion into anyone's mind, they're more liable to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have 2 demos and one is labeled commercial demo and narration demo, well, if we download that, then we're downloading a demo that's called commercial demo. And if we ever look up your name, we won't find it under, let's say, L for Larry, because it's filed under C for commercial. So add your name to it. Like, think about things from our perspective, make things easy for us. You know, it's not all about us. It is a relationship. But when you're marketing yourself, think about the other person that you're marketing to and make everything super simple for them. We also
Yeah.
get demos like to whom it may concern. Oh, a big one, pet peeve, dear sirs.
Mhm.
We get at least 2 or 3 emails a week that are entitled, that are labeled dear sirs. And it is a woman who runs our production department. That doesn't go over very well for her, and nor should it. So yeah, as Samantha said before, take your time, do some research. I believe you'll be much more successful if you market to far fewer agents and you do a good job marketing to each one, as
Mhm.
opposed to just blanketing 1,000 agents in one mass email with
Yeah.
no care.
I was about to say the exact same thing. We pitch as agents, we pitch our talent as well to casting directors, to production companies, to whoever you're working with. And we have to do the same thing. If we were just a blanket emails, they wouldn't go over well. So the more time you take, the better off you'll be.
And make your spreadsheets, y'all, and do your research and make your lists and put your timelines. And this segues into a follow up that I think I'm saying it correctly. Thurol, I'm not sure, but is asking. I actually love this question because I don't know what's a good time frame for the follow up. So I email Samantha and I say, please look at my beautiful demos. I'm so nice. And then I don't hear from her because she's busy. 2 weeks? A month? What do you say, Samantha?
I'd say a week.
Ooh.
Give it a week.
Okay, everybody, that is a gold nugget for y'all. Write it down.
Mhm.
1 week. So make your spreadsheets and you say, I wrote to this whomever on March 3rd, and then the following Thursday, you hit them up again. Love that. Thank you. I also appreciate this, and I think we sort of touched on it because Samantha said that she's they totally are interested in new talent, which means you don't have to have a massive body of work. But so when you look at these folks, are you sort of assessing them on the quality of their demo, or are you also looking at the resume of previous work? What are you looking at actually?
Um, I would say the quality of their demo. It doesn't necessarily mean just because you don't have any experience doesn't mean that you aren't going to be a good voiceover talent or anything. So I'd say if you can present yourself well and pitch yourself well and put together a good piece of material, then you will consider it. A lot of clients that we worked with don't necessarily always want someone who is a super experienced person. They just want the voice that they're looking for. And so that may sometimes come from somebody who's had 10 years of voiceover experience and somebody who's brand new.
And
Fabulous.
I would like to sort of have everyone change their mindset, because if you don't have experience, I would remove that from your mind, because you do. You've taken training, coaching, you've taken classes, you've worked perhaps with private coaches, uh, demo engineers, you've studied the craft. I mean, should this ever come up in conversation, and you can, if true, you can say to an agent who may ask about your experience that, look, I worked really hard on this. And what you hear on the demo is an accurate portrayal of my ability. This is not some engineer who had me read each word of my demo 18 times and edit together, like, piecemeal it together. This is my work. And I'm very happy and comfortable to send you some auditions, as a trial or whatever is helpful for you. Making it easy for them. Yeah, but yeah, to remove that mindset of having no experience, I think is very helpful.
Mm. Samantha, what about a website? Do you want your talent to have a website? Are you looking at their websites when they reach out to you?
I will look at their websites. Yeah, I don't think that you have to have a website. So yeah, I don't think you have to have one, but I think it always helps to have a website in promoting yourself. If you're taking what you're doing seriously as a business, then you should have a website. And I could do a whole nother class on that, but I won't. But yeah, I think that a website is a great addition to have. It shows that you're serious about what you're doing. It doesn't have to be a complicated website, but I don't think that you need one
How do
necessarily.
Yeah, yeah. How and this I think this goes, we'll do Samantha and then David here. how do you determine an agent fit? Or maybe, Samantha, what does it mean for you to have someone who kind of fits with you in a productive working relationship?
Well, first and foremost, we want to represent a variety of talent. So, we don't want to have a lot of the same type of person on our roster. So sometimes you might be an amazing actor or voiceover artist, but if we already have a roster with, 5 people just like you, then it might not be a good fit. So we're looking for types that we don't have to fill a certain space so that we're able to provide our clients with the types that they're looking for, a variety of different types of people. So I'd say that's number one. Number two is, and generally at BEA, we like to represent people that we can have a good working relationship with, and not only work well together, but, we like to, somebody that we kind of vibe with, that we, would want to take out for coffee and have, hang out with. So we like to have like a good fit in people who are pursuing the same types of goals as we are, which is, inclusive representation across a variety of different types of people. So yeah, those are the things that I think about when looking at new talent.
David?
Same things, and plus professionalism,
Yeah,
which is key.
definitely.
We have a little section of our database where we put in negative notes about voice actors who we won't hire and why we won't hire them anymore. And I could have a whole class on just reading off the reasons why there are voice actors who we will never hire again. And
Yeah.
it is really important that you are professional, and you can be more professional by always considering the situation from your client's side, from the agent's side.
Mhm.
Okay, so this question, I appreciate it, Chris. I don't know if we'll be able to answer it because it's really specific. So Chris is asking about if an agent would be helpful for someone looking to find voiceover work in international markets. He's in India currently, and he says there would be a huge market for his sound because he's got his full setup, but he doesn't know where to start. Do you know much about the international market for? It's a tough question.
Not in India necessarily, but I mean, we do get casting opportunities for a variety of different countries. Most of them are European countries, but I don't think that you necessarily need to find an agent. You can always start by looking on, Backstage, or pitching yourself to casting directors directly, trying to, doing research. Everything's online, so if you can really dig in and learn how to pitch yourself, you might not necessarily need an agent. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for you if you really start doing research online to figure out where you might fit into the voiceover world.
This question, I think I know the answer to, and I think it might be just a yes or no question. But if you don't have a voice demo, let me just start there. If you don't have a demo, Samantha, let's say I don't have one, should I reach out to you to work with you if I don't have a demo?
Probably not, no.
Okay, there we go, everyone. The answer is literally not even in the stars, it's in front of our faces. Get your demos, my people, professionally
Yeah.
produced.
Hey, Siobhán, I'd like to just go back to that previous question with the gentleman in India briefly. So yeah, we do a tremendous amount of international work, and I will tell you that there is so many opportunities. In fact, this came up earlier today. So many opportunities for voice actors who speak American English or British English
Mhm.
in other countries. Crazy amounts of work, and sometimes there are agents in those countries. I don't know for sure if there are in India or not. I would imagine so. It's a huge country, large population. There's a lot of voiceover work being done there. There's a lot of technology happening there. So I would bet money that there are agents in India. But regardless, as Samantha said, if you can market yourself well professionally to corporations and businesses and organizations that may require American English, then you should be golden in India.
Mm, thank you, David. Yeah, we've had this talk a lot about you just, in it, like your pitch decks. which is a whole other conversation, should not just be for agents, but businesses, places that you've targeted specifically, as Samantha is saying, like that you research them, you understand what they do and why you specifically would be a good fit. And keep a spreadsheet of that going too, and how you are contacting these folks. Okay, I like this question from Michael. Would there be a reason, Samantha, for a talent to say goodbye to their agent, or vice versa? Have you let go of talent in your career?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. If we're working with someone for a long time and opportunities, maybe they're not coming in, we're not able to secure auditions, casting directors or clients that we're working with aren't receptive to them, it might not be a good fit. Maybe we're not pitching them well, maybe they need material. There's all kinds of different reasons, but we'll release talent from working with us. And sometimes an agent might not be a good fit if your working styles aren't similar, if you don't feel that, if you're not doing everything that you can do to be as marketable as possible, and you're still not getting opportunities, then perhaps your agent isn't a good fit for you. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could play into it there, but if you're doing everything that you can do to market yourself and you're not seeing a big interest, maybe it's your agent, maybe it's you, maybe it's a combination. I don't know. But that might be a reason to try to work with another agent.
Do you work with folks 55 plus? Like, do you have a kind of diverse age range in your talent?
Yeah, definitely. We work with children all the way up to adults. We often get casting notices for adults who are in their 60s and 70s.
I want to clarify that, because I assume the two of you are speaking about reading age and not physical age.
We're talking about
reading age. Like how old you sound rather than how old you actually are.
Yeah. It's not always how old you actually are. It's how old you sound. Right.
At least we call it reading age, like what you sound like when you read. Yeah.
We usually say like playable age or something.
Oh, interesting.
That. Yeah. Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that clear for everybody? You might sound differently than the age you actually are. For me, I don't sound, I definitely sound like I'm in my 30s, right, guys? Right? Okay. So, keeping it going here. So yeah, this is great. Samantha, I mean, we're going to roll into the weeds here. Do you prefer audio files to be attached to the email, or do you want a link to the demos?
I want a link, please.
A link?
I don't like attachments ever.
I love these like cut and dry. David, would you say that that's true at Edge Studio as well?
Yeah, I would say so. Depending upon whether or not the voice actor has a website or not, right? If there's no website to link to, then you have to attach a demo. But virtually every voice actor has a website, or at least is on an online casting site and can send you to their online casting site homepage. But that's not necessarily always optimal either. Yeah, I mean, ideally there's a link, and I do like clicking on a link rather than listening to attached demos, just because I like to see someone's page, and you can learn, at least after all these years of casting, you can sort of learn a lot from about a voice actor by looking at their website. Just not even listening to their demo, but just by looking at it, you get some clues.
And YouTube or SoundCloud are free, so you can upload your things to those websites, and then you've got your stuff. It exists on the internet. Okay, love it. I love these cut and dry questions. I believe that too. We don't need to crowd people's inboxes with big old attachments. So from Dina, do you curate your auditions? That is, do you handpick the most appropriate voice actors from your roster for specific auditions? Or do you send, for example, females 20 to 40s in your whole roster of 20 to 40s women, and then pick from those? Is that clear, Samantha?
Yeah. I handpick them, so I know if someone sends a casting notice or a project that they're working on, then I typically they're usually pretty specific. If there are times when there might be like a more broad range of talent that someone is looking for. That might say just like female 30 to 50, then I'll just send everyone because there's no other instructions. But usually they're pretty specific. So then, our job is to know who we're listening to and to know who to send, because we are also, like, you're as talent pitching an agent, we're trying to make casting directors and production companies happy, and we want to make their lives easier. So I'm not going to send somebody 100 mediocre demo tapes if I can send them 20 really good ones.
Mm, mm, wonderful. David, do you want to also piggyback?
Yeah, it also depends on what the client wants,
Yeah.
because we do have clients who say, I want, like, this is a really important campaign to us. We're willing to take the extra time to listen to more auditions. And so sometimes a client will want a whole slew of like 100 auditions, and sometimes a client will say, just give me one. And we have every number in between you can imagine. And like you, Samantha, we do have clients who just say, I don't really know what I want. We're thinking we want a female, but maybe a male, probably
Mhm.
between like 20, 40 reading age or playable age, but maybe a little older. We'll know it when we hear it.
Right.
Okay, well, here goes one of those blanket auditions, like, because we have nothing to go on, so we can't handpick.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Um, so this is kind of a two-parter question from Veronica. Should we include a photo of ourselves in the email for submissions, particularly if, for instance, you're a person of color? Is that helpful?
Um, well, I think that sometimes when you're emailing people that you don't know, it might get your emails into spam if you send attachments like that. So I would say steer clear of doing that, just because you don't want your email to be overlooked and sent to someone's spam filter. But you can mention that, you can say, especially if it's for voiceover, you can say, I'm a female of color, or, I'm this or that, and just tell us.
Great. Yeah, just tell us. We're not that anybody here has a face for radio, but we're not evaluating our physical,
Exactly.
our physical
There's
attributes.
a little more to that, though, a little bit more. Sometimes the photo can stereotype you, right? Because you may look one age or one
Mhm.
race. You may look like you speak a certain language. Maybe you look like you'd have an accent. Like you might look like you're from the southern states. Who knows what it is? And that may not be the case with your actual voice. So unfortunately, like it or not, people will see an image of someone, and I think unconsciously there's this preconceived notion as to what that person may sound like. So I've always suggested to voice actors, if you don't look like you sound, or I could say if you don't sound like you look, maybe hold back from the photographs. But then some voice actors really do look like they sound, and sometimes that helps reinforce something, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's a certain language or a certain age or something like that. Sometimes I find it helpful.
And I just,
It depends on the person.
want to add something that's kind of on this topic, but when pitching yourself, if you can think, to an agent or to whoever, if you can think of, one or two sentences that can really sum up the way that you think your voice sounds, and like a one-liner or a two-liner, that might be more powerful than a photo. If you can figure out a way to describe what your type is.
So
Oh,
important to be able to do that. I agree. Yeah.
and listen, I just thought of something. Samantha, you just reminded me of something. Earlier, we were talking about pet peeves in your introduction letter to an agent or a
Mhm.
casting director or casting agent, whatever. A big one: have confidence, guys. When you write your letters, have confidence. So many voice actors send us their letters, and it says, "I hope you like what you hear. Please let me know how it sounds. Let me know what you think. If you like it, let me know." Like, have confidence. Like, this is your thing. Be positive. Be confident about what you're sending someone, even if you think it sucks. Well, in which case you shouldn't be marketing it. But even if you did think it sucked, I mean, don't say like, I hope you like it. Sorry, I had a cold when I recorded that third segment. Like, nothing negative in your emails. Keep it positive and confident.
If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so true. And if you struggle with self-esteem, just fake it, y'all. Just fake it. I do some things sometimes when I feel self-conscious where I'm like, all right, for these few hours, none of that is true. I am amazing and no one can stop me. And then when I'm done sending these emails or whatever, doing the job, then I can go feel sad, whatever. But just like make it happen in the time that you can. There was a question that I highlighted up here. There's so much. Okay. Oh, I love this. Samantha, how do you feel about physical mail, like a postcard or, you know, does that
I
happen?
no. When I used to, a long time ago when I worked in an agency, we had everything mailed to us, but no, I don't like mail papers.
Okay, not no Valentine's for Samantha next year, okay? Just keep
Valentines are okay. I just
Roses or
greeting
chocolates, but not a
cards,
letter.
yes.
David, I mean, I know Paul comes in about once a week to kind of take care of the plants and things at Edge. Do we get solicitations via the mail for casting it?
Yeah, very infrequently these days, and I'm very opposed to it just because I'm so big into sustainability. Like, and it's just not efficient, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah. Don't worry about it. It's a lot of labor for not much, if any, output. So I think that's really great. Micah said that when he was in his 20s, he voiced for 50s because he has that
Oh,
beautiful
wow.
lower range. We love to see it. Um, okay, so there's just what about okay, we've got international talent. I love all of this. And okay, compensation is really going to vary. Uh, we've got these questions. What kind of info? Okay, we talked about the follow up, I think, Kara, where Samantha basically said your follow up email, if I'm not mistaken, should basically have everything that the previous email had, right? You're essentially sending a little nudge that contains all of your succinct, organized information with links and no attachments. Am I right, Samantha? Pretty much the
Yes,
same email, right?
definitely.
Should you say like okay, let's say it's me and I'm like, should I say hey Samantha, or if I'm being real, whatever, like Ms. Diane, just sending a second follow up to my email last week. Hope you've been doing well, and then it's just the same email. Is that kind of thing
I
about?
wouldn't send the same email, but I would send the same information and just say that you're following up and then send it again, because what you don't want is, people will send a follow up and then we'll have to go back and look at the previous email, and I'm not going to do that. I don't think a lot of people are. So if you put the information in again in the email and word it differently, maybe change up the information a little bit, but make it as easy as possible. That's the way to do it.
This question is really great. I know for some folks doing, for instance, in theater auditions in New York City, especially smaller theaters, there's been a discussion about when you go into your audition that they're looking at your social media following because obviously if you have a lot of followers, more people might come to the play. So, in for you, does social media following play a factor in your choice for when you're bringing someone onto your roster?
Well, not for voiceovers, no. I do also work with people whose job it is to have a social media following. So in that sense, yes, but for voiceovers, no, I don't look at them at all. It's always a plus if somebody has a nice following and a well thought out and strategic online presence. Because it might lead to other opportunities, but as an initial voice actor, I don't necessarily look at it.
Fabulous. Yeah, I feel that seems to ring true in my experience that you consider your social media part of your overall package and exactly what she said, online presence, that it's there, it's established. So if people want to poke around, seeing that you're doing things, seeing photos of you in your booth, seeing that you're also showing off some of your personality, who
Right.
you are, that's helpful. But I appreciate that. David, do you want to add to that at all?
No, I agree. We don't look at social media when hiring a voice actor.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Okay, y'all, this chat has been really popping and we really appreciate it. Caitlin says lots of people mentioning voice age. If you aren't sure about your voice age, ask your coach. Sometimes it is hard to figure out on your own. I was actually making a joke about that. I worked with Danielle Quisenberry, DQ fans in the house, and I was like, yeah, I want to do all of this like mature, sophisticated stuff. And she's like, Siobhán, you sound like a trippy little young person. And I was like, I was shocked. Okay, I'm like, I'm trained in like Shakespeare, whatever. So you know your wheelhouse, and your coach can really help you with that. And sometimes it shocks you. So yeah, we know her, we love her. Okay, so we are like somehow at the 55 minutes, which is wild. Samantha and everyone, yes, Samantha has joined us today. Of her free time that she has donated to the community. So if you want to throw any love in the chat for her generosity, her presence, her amazing responses to these fantastic questions. And I'm, as of, an hour ago, there were only 6 seats left in Samantha's class. So Samantha, in these last few minutes, can you just tell us a little bit about what's going to go down this weekend in your agent workshop?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to listen to some reads of some different types of voiceover projects and give feedback on them. And so it's always helpful to have as many ears as possible listening to what you do and giving constructive feedback on what you do well and what the things that you can improve on. So I'm really looking forward to doing that and, listening to it with an ear for the different projects that we have going on. And always hopeful to see some new talent that might fit into our roster.
Fabulous. Wonderful, wonderful way to thank Samantha for her time is to show up for her class this weekend. David, any last last words on today's like powerhouse session we've had?
No, it was great, Samantha. It was great hearing your responses and appreciate them super much. And I do really appreciate everyone's questions. You guys had great questions. From what Siobhán's saying, lots of questions, which means you're really engaged and looking to further your business. So that's great. So congrats, everyone.
Yeah, great questions. Thank you.
Really great questions. You all are like well trained at using this hour very efficiently, and I appreciate that. I love that so much. Michael's cracking me up. So our for just other class announcements, again, dropping Samantha's class one more time. We've got also next month DAW for beginners with our lovely art brooder happening on March 24th. And he's going to go through several different DAWs. That's our digital audio workstations for people who are trying to figure out which DAW to work for them. And that means anything from, Twisted Wave, Pro Tools, Audacity, Reaper. James is like, give me the Reaper. I'm out here alone with Logic. I need that DAW at an earlier time. Thanks, Debbie, for that feedback. We appreciate that. And the show and tell is happening on March 9th. So we'll see you literally next week, evening hours. Bring your cocktails or bring your kombucha for my people who don't do that. And so here we are at 10:58. I really appreciate everyone joining us. Again, if you're like, I want to get in on all the Edge Studio goodness, we've got this link tree has all of our upcoming classes. It will have the YouTube link with Samantha's class, with Samantha's session today, tomorrow. I appreciate everyone's time and energy. We're at 108 people right now. We had 130 folks at one point. So Samantha, you kicked tush here, just like powering through these questions. Everyone, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for having your cameras on, seeing your beautiful faces, your sweet studios, and just joining us once again. Our next session is on St. Patrick's Day with Siobhán O'Loughlin. It is also our 50th episode. So David and I are going to be doing our notorious top 5 responses to questions in honor of 50, because 50 would be insane. But so please come. It'll be just me and David, and it'll be very good. Maybe we'll put in some Irish folk music there too, just for just for all of the good things. So okay, Samantha, you're amazing. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful to have you. And David, we appreciate you with us as always. And everybody, thank you. So totally there. Okay, 10:15. I'm on a roll.
And thank you to Siobhán also for hosting, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, awesome job. Love your energy. Kept it moving.
Love yours. We got tiny brunettes in the house, kind of just make it happen. Mwah! Everybody, take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.